What's up? It's Coach AK.
And Zanno, formerly known as Chad.
So, last episode we were talking about deciding on your goals. And the first thing we talked about is first identifying your eternal why, right? What is the reason deep down inside, 3 levels deep, why you want to achieve this goal? The second one is on regarding your goals is your commitment. What's going to get you up every single day to stay committed? And then the last one was on what we talked about last week was the 3 questions. Why you want it, why you should get it, and why will I get it? Staying focused like a photographer. This week, on this episode, we're going to be talking about overcoming obstacles.
And distractions and, a lot of what we're met with as we're on our way to our goal. So the first point we wanted to make today was on the topic of habits. And I think we all agree, aka you, myself, our listeners, we'd all agree that we have formed as human beings with the advent of smartphones and Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, we formed some habits that aren't really result producing at times. So what we want to do is form some good habits that are going to lead us down the path of our goal. And we form good habits because we need to for our job, for our collegiate studies, for certain aspects of our life. It's now time for you, because you have your goal in clearer focus, to form habits and to take these seriously, but form these habits for yourself so that you can move down that path towards your goal. I'm hoping that's making sense. One of the habits is to schedule goal time, schedule work time. If you're developing a business, for instance, you want to schedule time for initial calls, for follow-up calls, for marketing, for income-producing activities. We've talked about not being responsible for the how. The how is going to come to you as you focus on your goal. As the how comes to you, as projects surface, as people surface that you need to meet with, that come up with new ideas, and you grasp these things, and you all of a sudden have a few things that you need to get done, put them on paper, put them on a schedule. Form habits around getting those actions done, those result-producing activities done. I believe, one of the main things that you can do as a new habit is to surround yourself with awesomeness.
And that is so true. If you're trying to get a big goal, right? Obviously, it's a goal that you find passionate about, what Chad talked about last week, that brings a fire under your butt, almost makes you want to cry, or maybe even makes you cry. You have to surround yourself around people that are going to understand you, mentors, whatever. Because in your mind, if you are trying to become an Olympian, stop surrounding yourself around lazy bums. Because when you say, I don't want to do a workout, when I'm tired, they're going to be like, you know what? You should just sit down and watch Sesame Street with me, whatever it needs to be. Right? So the first thing you need to do if you want to overcome obstacles, because you're going to have it. You're going to have obstacles. There was a book, I'm sure you read it. It is called The Alchemist by Pablo Coelho. And whenever you're going towards your life mission, the beginning of any task that you have, any mission that you have, is fairly easy. You're going to be excited about the project. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel excited, full of life. And then at some point, reality sets in. I'm a 400-meter runner. I run track and field. A lot of people think that the race starts at the gun. In reality, the race starts 200 meters in the race. And that's usually when you start to feel uncomfortable. I think, Chad, you run the marathon, right?
Recently, yes.
When do you start feeling it?
My most recent marathon, man, it was mile 16, and my mind started to spiral, and to be honest, at a couple points I felt like just quitting, but I felt I had gone that way. I'd gone that many miles to just blast through and crush it, and it's, we talked about it. It's not, the race doesn't start when the gun goes off. The race starts much later on when you need to dig deep down and say, do I really want this? Do I want to accomplish this? Do I want to go through with this, or don't I?
Yeah, and in life, it's that first rejection, or that first person you talk to that's not excited about your project as much as you are, or it could be that, it's just been too many late nights of you going to bed at 2 a.m. and waking up at 6 to get this project finished. That is when the race starts.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people who, when they get a few no's, if they're building a business or they're starting a project or they have an invention that they're working on, it's those people who, when they get those no's, it's earth shattering. And it is initially. It is. And, as you go through this, I was just listening to a YouTube clip, noted that when you want something as much as you want to breathe, you're going to overcome the pain and you will achieve greatness. And it's that pain, like you said,
Eric
it's
Thomas.
that no. What's that?
Eric Thomas.
Yeah.
If you want to live as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Absolutely, dude. He's amazing. And it's those types of people, dude, that just instill that they pour fuel on that flame that's in your belly, and just no matter who you are, makes you want to be better. Makes you want to be better for other people, be better for your family, and it absolutely is Eric Thomas. You got
Les Brown.
You got Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, all these awesome people.
And that's what I would actually touch on that, right? Here's the first tip that's obvious. Instead of trying to avoid obstacles, you're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. Accept it. But if you can continue what we talked about in the last episode about continually keeping positivity into your mind, understanding that what's going on isn't crazy. Listen to the Les Browns, the Eric Thomases, waking you up, getting ready for the day, saying, "This is an obstacle. Get out of my way. I'm gonna barrel right through you. I do not care." That's the mentality, that's the mindset you need to have to say, I don't care. I'm not looking at these no's. I'm trying to find that one yes.
And when you get that yes, when that person comes along and they're just as fired up as you are, dude, all of the other stuff fades off into the distance so quickly. Because now you're brainstorming, you get the energy going back and forth, and the no's fade into the distance. And then a lot of times, those people who initially were saying no, they weren't interested in your invention, they weren't interested in your idea or project. Well, now they're coming back and saying, "Wait, you continued? I thought you were going to give up because I said no." Well, hell no, I didn't give up because you said no. I was going to continue forward. I found a few people who were just totally stoked about this. Really? Well, cool. Well, what's going on? I want more information.
Exactly. They'll be your biggest supporters.
Yeah. And it's not, we love everyone that we work with. We love people who say no to us initially because it makes you stronger, dude. I mean, it builds your character for sure. And, it is when you do find that person where you're communicating with them, and Napoleon Hill talks about the third brain. You can be thinking about a topic, but like when you and I get on here, we get into talking, we have an agenda, but a lot of times we kind of curb off the agenda, but we're still on the same types of topics, Mm-hmm. So that third brain forms where you're pulling ideas. Something happened last night, I think it was before we got on the recording of the last podcast. And something happened. I was looking for a word, and you pulled that word, and it was exactly what I was looking for. And it's that type of synergy, that type of third brain that forms when you're talking with people who are right there with you, same mindset. So,
yeah, and I think when we have any type of opportunity, a goal that we're searching for, just a path that we're on, I think there's how many seconds are there in a day?
86,400 seconds in a day.
He just knew that on the top of his head. I swear to you.
I had it written down.
But in the days that we have, you only have two options. You only have two options in life, and you've only had two options in life. When you decide to take that goal full on, I'm going to tell you the two. It's either you quit or you keep on going forward.
That's it.
That's it. There's no other options. There's no other secret sauce that I can give you. It is either you quit or you keep on going. And when I mean quit, it is going back into the status quo. Going back to what is comfortable, what is realistic. There's a reason why there's only 1% of the population that's entrepreneurs that go out there and take those risks, because it is easier to be part of the 99 than it is to be part of the 1%. And those are the ones that are willing to say, you know what? Life has beat me up, spit me out, trampled me, rolled me down the hill, punched me, kicked me, whatever. But you are not going to stop me from living my purpose in life, no matter what happens.
And when it comes to our goal, 1% of doubt equals 0% faith. If you have any doubt in your goal, you have zero faith in where you're going. And it takes that 100% certainty that you're going to get there to move through these obstacles. And like you said, to crush them, to wake up and say, I don't care what comes at me today, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to move right through it and move on to the next obstacle. And you know what? When you do that, other people are going to see you doing that. And other people are going to want to learn from you and say, okay, you know what? I'm getting hit with obstacles too. I don't like it. No one likes it. But I want to have that same type of drive to say, I don't care what comes at me. I'm going to move through it because of these the habits that we're forming, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. You have that onus to just move forward.
And getting outside of your comfort zone, moving through obstacles is like a weight, like you're lifting weights. It's like a muscle. And I think Tony Robbins says it the best, is if I want to get a muscle stronger, what do? You
go to the gym, you perform activities to strengthen that particular area.
Yeah, you do it. You lift weights to get stronger. But if I stop lifting weights, I don't just stay the same. I get weaker. So for us, every single time that we're pushing through the self-doubt, the uncertainty, the insecurities, we're getting stronger. Every single time, we're getting stronger. And if there's ever an opportunity that we're faced with that says, hey, maybe I should get outside of my comfort zone, and you make the decision not to do it, you don't stay the same. You actually get weaker. So every single time an obstacle comes, you got to move through it, because it's just reinforcing in your mind that it's okay. It's easier not to do it than it is to do it. But once you keep on rolling through it, stuff that used to be obstacles beforehand, or weights that used to be difficult beforehand, you're like, what? Why was that hard? I'm repping this now. I'm repping these no's. I'm repping these people not believing in my passion, my goals, my dreams. You know what? I don't need it. I'm already past that. I'm maxed out already in weights that you could never imagine I'd be doing.
Yeah, and Greg Plitt, right? I'm pretty sure that was his name. The late Greg Plitt. he said that, once you move through an obstacle, you look back on it and you say, dude, that was not near as much of an issue as I thought it was going to be. The anticipation of it is so much more than what the actual obstacle was, And so that we stay on topic, we were also going to talk. Well, I wanted to cue fear. You talked about, or you alluded to fear a little bit, and stepping outside of your comfort zone and facing your fears. I mean, for the longest time, man, I let fear numb me. I let it. I let that roommate in your head, untethered soul roommate in your head, just kind of focus in on the fear, the garbage, the stuff that slows you down. And it wasn't until I said, all right, well, you face fear in the face, step outside your comfort zone, and you work through it, where you're like, dude, it doesn't make sense to be slowed down by fear. But a lot of people, say 95% of our population, if you look at the income, 5% of our population in the U.S. is legitimately financially fit. 95% are having challenges. So of those 95%, I'm sure not a lot of people would argue that a large majority of them are not moving forward because they're in fear of something. Fear is so self-limiting, it's unbelievable. Well, once you face it and you do it, like you said, you do it over and over and over and over and over again, it becomes easier and easier and easier.
And I think some people need to know, this is what I believe personally, it's not that you're going to stop being scared. The point is, when the fear comes in, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there with your tail between your legs? Or are you going to move forward and face it? Are you going to have courage? Courage is not being afraid. In some ways you may not be afraid, but courage is, even in the spite of fear, am I going to still follow my passion? You talk about people in the military. You think they're not afraid being out in war? At any second their life can be taken away from them. But they know that their mission, their passion, their heart is to defend the country for freedom. And their passion is more important, more valuable than their own life. So when your goal in life, you're willing to die for it, you're willing to do everything in your heart for it. And I think everybody can get it. I think everybody's going to get it easily. Like, if you have kids, you understand what that is. You would do anything for your kid, for your child. Even when you're fear, I don't care. Just because there's a car bailing down on your child or whatever, they fall into a lake, a freezing cold lake. What are you going to do? You're not going to, I'm too scared, sorry. No, your reaction is say, I'm jumping in. I don't care what happens to me. My life is not as important as this gift, this passion of mine. And when you have a goal like that, fear means nothing. You're going to feel it, but you're still going to act.
And it, just like a lot of people have the knee-jerk response of allowing fear to limit them, it's getting to that point where fear, the knee-jerk response, is to figure out how to move through it. You automatically, without batting an eye, you figure out how you're going to move through it. For some people, it's talking. They did a study on people, and they asked the people, what's your biggest fear in life? And I think the biggest fear, or put it this way, death was number 17.
Number 1 is public speaking. What we're doing right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like some people, to get on stage, they would be crazy, scared, and even though they have a great message that they're passionate about, the fear is numbing. It is numbing. It's legitimately numbing. But they get up in front of an audience first time, and they do okay. They get some compliments, and those compliments keep them moving forward to the next one. So they do it again. Do it again as quickly as possible.
Right.
Get that next exposure, that next experience out of the way as quickly as possible, and then just keep going at it. Keep going at it. Because the more frequently you do it, it's like playing guitar. You play guitar, and first few times you play, man, your fingers are kicking. you can see the lines of the strings on your finger. They're red, they're sore, but then over time, the callus forms. No different here. The callus is forming, and you're moving forward to facing fear so that we'll call it your soul, is forming a callus so that you can move past these things. And as you move past these things, as Plitt mentions, you're becoming a bigger person. Your character is building. And it's a ripple effect, man. I don't care what anyone says, man. When you're growing as an individual and your character is just getting to that point where you feel so much better about where you are and what you're doing for other people, it's a ripple effect. People around you are going to feel it, and you're going to be, whether you know it or not, directly or indirectly, changing people's lives.
Right. Right. And that is the basis of everything we do. That's what limits most of us from wanting to reach that dream. The two questions is either I'm going to continue or I'm going to keep on going. Still going back to the same episode, that's the difference between being a kid again and being an adult, is those two options we have.
Being a kid is so much fun. You know, when you're hanging out with your kids, or you're hanging out with young kids, you know, and you just kind of sit back and watch them. Dude, they have so much fun. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They have fun every second of the day, right? And like I said, at 7 years old, is just the experience that I've had and what I've witnessed. Is about 7 years old, that starts to kind of fade a little bit. And it's sexy, but we as parents and we as adults, you know, if you are a coach for youth organizations or a teacher for the youth, dude, it's so important for all of us to just have fun like kids. And because we all have that within us, it's just, it gets buried by, you know, life and society, and we're going to bring that back out.
And distractions.
Mm-hmm.
So as we are, you know, moving forward and, you know, wrapping up this show, it is distractions. That's really what gets us off track. You know, and next episode, we're going to be talking about how do we remove these distractions from our lives. What strategies can you use? Strategies of distractions can be Facebook, it can be the news, it can be friends. Your distractions can be right here or right there, but one of these.
Exactly.
So on the next episode, we're going to be talking about removing distractions from your life, or at least one, recognizing when they're a distraction. And so today we talked about, well, the first episode we were talking about goals and defining your goals. This one we talked about overcoming obstacles. First and foremost, you're going to face obstacles. Accept it. And not only accept it, you want them to come. Obstacles determine and they let you know how tough and how ready you are. If you think one distraction is get you off course, man, you ain't ready yet. You're not strong enough yet. You need a few more roadblocks. You need a few more hurdles to hit you before you feel comfortable to run this organization, to be this athlete you want to be this profession that you want to do, to live this life you want to live. You're going to have to get some calluses. You're going to have to get it. So next week, we're going to be talking about identifying distractions and moving forward and removing them out of your life.
Super excited to be doing this. And tonight was a lot of fun in particular.
It was fun.
Because it's a biggie when you can, you know, as we did last call, have that goal in focus and then really start to take it seriously. So I hope that you know, our listeners are getting to that point where they have that goal and they're starting to take it serious. They're starting to treat it just like they do their job.
Mm-hmm.
we're talking dreams, dude, and those are going to take you further than any job you have, and they're going to get you to that point where you're really experiencing how life can just be magnified to the nth level. So this is really awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Chad. And hopefully that we've been able to.
But Xana, formerly known as Chad.
Sorry, Zanno. And hopefully we're able to connect. And down below, ask us questions. If you want us to talk about something in particular, focus on a particular thing that you're struggling with, that you found some success in, we want to hear it. We want to answer these questions. Until next time.
Yeah, thank you all our listeners too. Thank you very much.